Welcome back. Satin Creditcare posted good fourth quarter earnings. Disbursals and net interest margins have come in higher than the previous quarters. Asset quality has improved in the quarter. And to discuss the earnings and also the Reserve Bank's new proposals to regulate MFIs, we are being joined by H.P. Singh, Chairman and Managing Director of Satin Creditcare. Mr. Singh, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I hope you've been safe all the while.
Thank you so much.
Well, first we'll discuss the numbers and then I'll come to your views on the RBI's proposals. Actually, it's a good set of numbers. Your NPAs have gone down despite it being difficult quarters. Can you give us some idea of the collection efficiency in the current quarter?
Well, March was previously before the second wave was coming in. I think it was getting back to the pre-pandemic levels. But yes, after the second wave and the lockdowns being announced by several states, the collection efficiency did take a hit. If I would probably, give you a view of April and May, April was still about 93% to 95% collection efficiency, but May was a dip, So the collection efficiency went down to about 75%, or because of the lockdown announced by several states, But once it has started opening up now, the efficiency is back to about 80% odd now, the last 1 week or so.
Would you need the Reserve Bank's restructuring rules or are your denominations very low? They allow you to restructure loans up to 50 crore. I guess your average ticket size is smaller. So will you have to restructure any assessment of what stress you may face in the current and next quarter?
To be very frank, I think the difference between between this time of the pandemic as well as the previous time, we got a moratorium in the first wave, but we haven't got a moratorium. So my own sense is, as reading from the market, is definitely yes, there will be restructuring happening across to our borrowers during this time, and how far and how much is probably, is a guess which we are looking at by talking to the borrowers and see how much are we able to do it. But yes, I think restructuring will happen this time, because of no moratorium being given.
Okay, no, my only worry is the good work that you could do in terms of reducing stress in the previous year. You've brought it down from 9.6 to 8.4 and net NPAs all the way down to 3.3. Will some of it have to be given back? Will you see a worsening?
My own sense is if we are able to restructure, I think the worsening will not happen. There could be a slight blip during the June quarter, but my sense is because of the restructuring, technically, I think that blip will not be as grave as what it was in the first wave. So my own sense is that yes, looking at the numbers as well as the field dynamics, I think probably the numbers will not be that bad.
Okay, but you said that the collection efficiency in May fell to 75%. Has it worsened in June? What has it been in June so far? And what would all of this do to your asset quality? I mean, what is the expectation over the next 1 to 2 quarters?
So May was bad, and once we started unlocking in the previous 1 week or so, with several states getting back to unlocking it, the collection efficiency has improved about 8 to 9%. So that is what the difference is. Looking at the asset quality in the near future, I think June will be a slightly tough quarter basically. But what has happened is technically, because of 1 month and 1.5 months of lockdown, the DPD has normally come into 1 to 30 bracket. It's not that it has reached the NPA levels. So 1 to 30 is the DPD, which is probably being the highest across over there, where even the ECL and everything is probably the lowest. And with restructuring coming in, the asset quality will not take hit on a larger scale, which happened during the first wave, but it will be slightly lesser than that. Or in fact, it will be practically be a lot lesser than that.
Okay, but you said June is expected to be a tough quarter. So in terms of AUM and disbursal growth, what are you guiding for? It's been in low single digits so far, the AUM growth that is. What is the guidance?
So the guidance for the whole year, we have pegged it at about 6 to 8%, not more than that. But if we look at the June quarter, definitely the disbursements were on hold for May, as well as for the better half of June, but we just opened up our disbursement once the lockdown has started opening. But it will be a very, very muted quarter. In fact, the next quarter too will be a bit muted. Our own sense is this is the guidance which we are giving in terms of our budgeting, which we have done. That will be close to about 8% odd growth, which we are looking at for the full year.
Okay. I just want to know, would you require more capital because of the likely, maybe writing off of some loans?
See, to be very honest, we just finished our rights issue. In fact, the last installment is still yet due, which probably will be there in sometime in July and August. Based on that, I don't think so that looking at the muted growth which we are trying to project, because we still are uncertain about the third wave, which everybody else is talking about. And keeping that in mind, we are looking at a very muted growth. So our sense is that we would not require capital technically for this year, looking at the growth and the numbers which are coming in.
All right. Mr. Singh, I didn't want to be unfeeling about the problems your clientele is facing, but it's just that as investors, people will just want to know how the finances are shaping up. Do you feel overall you all will swim through FY22 a little more easily than FY21?
To be very honest, I will not be able to compare both of them. I think, this time it's been more of loss of lives rather than loss of income, and the infection rates have been pretty high even in the rural space, But in terms of the income generating capacity, I think it has not been that bad the way it was, because of the lockdown happening for about 4 months altogether. It's been slightly less, but overall, I think the economic sense probably seems, much better than what the first wave was.
Point. Okay, sir. Now, if I may come to the Reserve Bank's discussion paper, it's only a discussion paper, maybe a while before it becomes actual rules. But some things stand out. One, that the two-lender cap goes, and secondly, this 10% capping of interest cost, that has gone away or is likely to go away if the proposals are taken. Would that make a very big difference, the spread cap going away?
Well, I think, before the market dynamics take over between the supply and demand, which definitely will take over at some point of time. But, the fact of the matter is that as microfinance institutions, since we look at the bottom of the pyramid, we probably never have had, and we never would probably do the usurious rates, which are charged. So definitely, I think, though the interest cap has gone, in fact, the margin cap has also gone. Our own sense is, since we are looking at our OPEX, which everybody, I think, probably is in single digit, of about, between 5 to 7%. Our sense is, I think the rates will probably not go high. In fact, there will be a lot of ways we are able to really bring it down. But it actually augurs well for small and medium institutions which always had this problem of having a 10% margin cap. But our own sense is it'll be a harmonization which is happening across. It'll be a level playing field for everybody to be there. BCs of institutions and banks used to again charge the same rate. So there will be at least what do you call the market dynamics which takes over, but definitely yes, the whole factor which you take across for the bottom of the pyramid, that will also probably be a very big factor to really look at the rates and the margin caps.
No, I remember this discussion was very common in 2006 and 7 when Vijay Mahajan and all those SKS guys used to speak about lending to MFI. Their argument always was that the old practice, you gave a vegetable vendor 100 rupees in the morning and in the evening he returned 105. It may look like a very big number, 5% multiplied by 30 or multiplied by 365, but at that denomination it works. So that's why I'm asking that maybe this cap was wrong from the start.
I think, I'm probably not the right person to comment on that, whether this was wrong. But yes, it did actually shackle us from, looking at and having a place where the cost of funds actually never used to go down, but the margin cap used to stay or cross over there, which actually hurt the borrowers also to a large extent. But yes, as you rightly said, retail does have a better better profitability in terms of percentages if you really look at. But that does not also mean that we could probably go wild on charging our interest rates. So I think there is more sanity which is there in charging interest rate. But yes, it does cover a lot of our operating costs. It also looks at how technology and digitization really helps in bringing down our operating expenses, which have probably during the last couple of years really come down. So I think it augurs well for the sector as such.
Okay, just one final question from my end. You service a lot of villages, about 80,000 to 90,000 villages. So you will be able to give us a clear picture of what the situation is there. You told us the June quarter will be tough, but do you think that given the way COVID has sort of hit a lot of villages, you may have to take higher amount of write-offs or make more provisions in say the first half of FY22, and because of how much the situation is worsening right now?
So the best part is that whatever had to happen probably has happened in the second wave. So the infection rates were definitely slightly higher during this time as compared to the previous first wave which was there. But having said that, what I reiterated earlier, definitely yes, because of restructuring, because of income generating capacities not going down the way it went down during the first wave, the NPA levels and the write-offs probably will not be higher, because DPD, I said, is in the range of 1 to 30 or maybe 1 to 60 at the maximum, where there are chances of a lot of them recouping back as compared to once it crosses the 90 DPD levels and becomes an NPA. So my own assessment, definitely yes, is the NPAs and write-offs will be far lesser, as compared to what the first wave was.
Okay. Got that, sir. Thank you very much. We are trying to prize out the future from you. I can understand the hesitation. Thank you very much for joining us, and all the very best.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's the word. Hopefully this round will not be as bad, though as Mr. Singh pointed out, there were more casualties. Okay, now we have to